uncertainty causes alliances to be formed.
Sir? Sorry, I'm making you run through the crowd here.
I just want to talk about, a lot of this seems to be different sets of facts. Some people are saying there's loads of Chinese and Russian activity around Greenland, and other people are saying no, or at least not now. Can some of the differences of opinion politically be resolved by having a common picture of what the facts are?
It would be too easy.
That's a great.
I mean, that does seem like a pretty a fact, right? Whether there's ships or presence or not.
This is a good point.
And the facts are, madam, they're...
We have the facts. Of course we have.
Sir?
Thank you for this opportunity. I don't want to damage the environment here because I'm from China, indeed. I would like to say, I understand now, this time, some American and European, you try to repair the transatlantic relations. But I think it could be out of logic and reason that to take China as a so-called threat and to help you get some more cooperation in Arctic. I think, yes, especially the Madam Senator, in your accusation against China, I think mostly because of you think that China and Russia, they are a kind of, close relations. And also some other, I think, based on the imagination. Even Prime Minister, you think, okay, you have fact. But I think it depends on how about the judgment from our Greenland people. I think that not only just cooperate with Russia. For a long time, China has been looking for any opportunity to cooperate with Nordic countries, including Denmark. So my question is, now if we try to touch the real point of the issue is, once there are some more militarization of Greenland, and then expand to Arctic region, I mean more and more militarization, what will happen? Also, American lady mentioned, okay, there will be some confrontation between NATO and Russia in Arctic region. What will happen, and especially what will happen for the whole world? Because as we know, more and more fragmentation of geopolitical tension or some other. Thank you.
Does anyone want to take that?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think from a Greenlandic perspective, we are very, very clear on what we want. We want to be a part of the Transatlantic Alliance. We want to be a part of NATO, and we want to cooperate very closely with countries that shares our values. Values of international law, democracy, and so on. It's a very clear answer from a Greenlandic perspective. And we are ready to cooperate with anyone that we think shares our values. And in terms of the security aspect, in some of your question, it was like you mentioned that maybe China was a tool in the debate to ramp up in the Arctic region. And somebody also said today that it's not only security, there's much more in that. In Greenland, we agree on we need to do more on Arctic security. In Greenland, we also agree on that we have a responsibility with our geographical placement. Like you said, the map still looks the same, right, Lisa? We need to do more on security, surveillance. And we are perfectly aligned on that with our friends, and we also see examples now with the Arctic Century and so on. That's something we in Greenland agree on perfectly. But to state it clear, we cooperate with everyone we think shares our values. That's maybe the most important.
Right here, there's a thanks.
Oh, thank you. My name is Karsten Friis. I'm a research professor at the Norwegian Institute of International Affairs. Thanks for your comments. My comment and a question, if I may, very quickly. First, a comment. I work on security and defense matters, and in a way, it's welcome that we get this focus on the Arctic. But at the same time, it takes away attention from Ukraine, which is unfortunate. So we need to be balanced here, right? It's an ongoing war, which is extremely important. So while we still have to address the Arctic, let's not forget about the real thing. My question is to Pistorius, and you think I think you will like my question, because I wanted to know what Germany is planning to do in defense side to engage more in the Arctic in the future. You like that one, right?
I like the answer, this question, and even more the answer. And I will give you the 20 euros later. But to be serious, well, it is about what I elaborated earlier. It is about joint security, and you mentioned Ukraine in the same context. And to make it absolutely clear, what I'm talking about, or what I've been talking about, is we need in NATO a 360-degree view on the threats in the world. It is the eastern flank, of course. This is our priority one in Middle Europe, of course. It couldn't be different. Ukraine is showing us what's going to happen if we don't pay attention to what is going on. At the same time, we have the threats in southern Europe, like irregular migration, terrorism, Islamistic terror, and so on. And we have the high north, which is, I couldn't have described it better than you, of course. I mean, the map is the same, and the map is absolutely clear. So what we need to do is, we need to do jointly everything we can do to cover the protection we need on the NATO territory and in the neighborhood. This is our task. This is a huge task. Therefore, I'm quite convinced that 3.5% for defense in the years to come, for core defense, will never be enough, because the challenges are increasing at the moment. It is about deterrence, not defense in the first place, but deterrence. We need to be able to deter our adversaries. And to that Chinese colleague, is he still there?
I think he took off.
You need to go, okay. Well, China is not the first threat in the Arctic at the moment, but they are present, and they are moving ahead more strategically than the Russians in a totally different manner. But the Russian presence is impressive, and the northern fleet of the Russian Federation is impressive and is even growing in times like that while having a war against Ukraine. So this is what we have to be concerned about. And of course, Germany, Denmark, Spain, Italy, France, we are all challenged to take part in what is necessary to protect our territory.
Maybe just to add one thing, I totally agree, but this is a very tough message to all Europeans. I mean, we have to be able to tackle more crises at the same time, because the old world is not coming back. And I mean, and everything is interlinked. So the war in Ukraine has never been about Ukraine. Yeah, it's those who are suffering, but it's about Russia. And it's about Russia's imperial dreams, and the same goes for the Arctic region. This is not about the Arctic region, it's about Russia's imperial dreams. The hybrid war against Europe that is going on every day has to be tackled at the same time as the war in Ukraine and the Arctic. By the way, the door is totally open for Russia now in the Sahel region. Yeah. We are out of it. So our problems with terrorism, it's not on top of mind right now. I can promise you they are going to return, and probably they will return at the same time as something is going on the eastern flank. So it's a new, I mean, forget about tackling one crisis. Yeah. We have to be able to tackle all of them at the same time. And I'm sorry to say, I think it's a part of the strategy from different parts of the world right now to throw as many conflicts, as many discussions, as many tweets, as many messages as possible on the table at the same time, so everybody's running around like a chicken without head. And therefore, when you were asking, it's a very good question, how much time do we spend on responding? Too much? So there are two very important lessons learned. As Europeans, you cannot build your strategy on what other people are doing. So was there like a European moment this January? Yes, there was. And now our obligation is to transform that Greenlandic European moment into a European strategy. And I think this is extremely important. The other lesson learned is that when we stand together and when we are able to respond as effectively as others, then the markets react, and then changes will be seen in the political messages from US.